Welcome to Speaking of Sports. I'm your host, Jared Slack. Thanks for joining me again. Sorry about last week. I couldn't make it on the show. I was a little bit under the weather. As you can see, I'm in a hotel room this week. I'm out of town, but got to get this week's show in here. This week, I'm going to talk about the NFL Week 16. How is it already Week 16 for this year? This season's nearly over. We'll go over the Cowboys, the Rangers, the Mavericks. I'm going to finish with some fantasy football like I did. I missed it 2 weeks ago, and I got to get back on that. Okay, so first I'm going to start with the Rangers. They signed Corey Kluber, which is awesome because this makes your starting lineup probably the best in the American League West. This is it's going to go Corey Kluber, Mike Minor, Lance Lynn. That is an awesome lineup, and I cannot wait to see what's in store for this year. You also got people, the younger people like Brock Burke and Kobe Allard, who we're going to get to see if they're going to be able to step up this year. So it's very exciting to see. They're still in a hunt for a first or a third baseman. And Nolan Arenado, third baseman for the Rockies, is still kind of an option for the Rangers. That's someone who they really like. I know I talk about it every week. But they someone who they really like. That was their number one goal in free agency, was to get Nolan Arenado. Once he was re-signed, that was kind of a bummer for them. But it's going to be tough if they want to try to get him because Nolan has a no-trade clause. So he's going to have to agree to go there. You're going to have to give up some assets. And but the Rockies will probably pay a little bit of his salary, so that's going to be good. Also, for first base, you might be looking for someone that could play as a platoon player. Because you have Ronald Guzman at first base, and he is tremendous defensively, but he cannot hit lefties. So if you were to get a platoon player to maybe only hit lefties, that might do. Also, another option, if you were to sign Hunter Pence back, one of our all-stars from last year, maybe you could teach him first base and just play first base whenever you're facing a lefty. Or just keep him out of the outfield. Keep him prevent as much injuries as he could potentially have due to running around in the outfield and all that kind of stuff. All right, now I'm going to go to the Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks last Saturday versus Miami Heat. Luka had an ankle injury. It doesn't look too serious, and he could be back as soon as next week. But on the positive side, the Dallas Mavericks are playing great without him. They don't need their leading scorer right now. They snapped an 18-game winning streak versus the Bucks in Milwaukee, and they put up a very good fight against the Celtics. They fell a little short last night, and those are two of the best teams in the East, and they did it without Luka. So this team is trending upwards right now. They're doing very well, and I'm excited to see what this future holds. It seems like they didn't hit that little you don't do good for a couple years and you get a good player in the draft, and then you hit around 500 for a couple years, and it takes like 6 or 7 years to be a great team, and it seems like they're already trending towards a great team, and it's only been 2 years. So this is very awesome for these Dallas Mavericks. Okay, now I'm going to go over to Week 16 of the NFL. Here's some games to watch right here. The Bills versus the Pats. The Bills still have a chance to get that division. The Pats have already clinched a playoff spot, but with a win here, I believe that they would tie the Patriots, and they could potentially go on to win their division. Rams 49ers. 49ers are probably going to roll this game. The Rams are not looking very well at all. I was actually kind of feeling bad last week against the Cowboys whenever Jared Goff was just kind of dumping it over the line every single play and just hitting the receiver on a little curl route every single play like he had no other option. I don't know if that's how good Dallas's defense was doing last week, or it was just because he's not seeing his reads right, or he's not getting coached right, or every defense in the league has figured him out, but he's not having a very good year this year. The Chiefs versus the Bears. let's see if the Bears defense can hold up against that explosive Chiefs offense. The Packers and Vikings. This is two of the NFC's best teams right here. I think the Packers are ahead of their division. The Vikings have a wild card spot at the moment. So we'll find out about that game. Then Cowboys versus the Eagles. A couple notes here. Dak was limited at practice this week with a sore shoulder. He should be good to go this Sunday, though. You need to get Zeke going early. He is 5-0 in Philadelphia in his career. And Kellen Moore needs to do a little bit more of what he did last week. He mixed up the runs. He just showed different little just something different every single play. He didn't do something the same. He didn't do their regular run plays. They did a lot of two-back sets, option plays. They did a couple plays where Pollard got the ball on a sweep, and Zeke was the lead blocker. And Zeke is a great NFL blocker for his position, a great blocker. So I want to see a lot of that. Along with that same note, you need to carry that momentum from what you had last week. No penalties. You need to execute plays offensively and defensively. The Cowboys defense actually made an appearance last week, and I want to see a lot more of that. They really showed up behind leader Sean Lee. He had a great game. He had a sack and an interception. I think they said that was the first time in his career he had that sack and an interception in the same game. Now I'm going to go to the perfect fantasy football lineup for Week 15. Your number one quarterback was Lamar Jackson. He had 212 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 86 rushing yards for 37.08 points. Running back Kenyon Drake for the Cardinals. They acquired him earlier this season. He got 137 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns for 39.6 points. Running back Christian McCaffrey, 86 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 8 receptions for 88 yards for a total of 37.5 points. Wide receiver Julio Jones, 13 receptions, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns, 38.4 points. Michael Thomas, 12 receptions, 128 yards, 1 touchdown, 30.8 points. See, here's one of the key notes. These last 2 receivers, Julio and Michael Thomas, every single week, they got 10, 11, 12, 13 catches every week. It seems like it doesn't matter who they go against. They have upwards of 10 receptions every game. And that's key to getting your yards right there. Your flex position, Miles Sanders for Philadelphia. He had 122 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 6 receptions for 50 yards, and a total of 35.2 points. Tight end George Kittle, who has been killing it this year. He had 13 receptions, 134 yards, 26.4 points. Kicker Kai Forbath for the Dallas Cowboys, replacing Brett Maher. He had 5 PATs, 3 field goals for 16 points. I looked at the second person on that list. It was Dan Bailey for 15 points. Thought that was pretty funny. Your number one defense for Week 15 was Minnesota. They had 3 sacks, 3 interceptions, 4 fumble recoveries, 1 touchdown for 27 points. And that totals up to be 288 points for Week 15. And that's all I have for this week. Thank you for listening. Make sure to listen in next week because we're going to go over Week 17 of the NFL, the final regular season week. I will talk of playoff matchups. I will talk a little bit of Cowboys and Eagles. Hopefully the Cowboys won so they get that be division champs. Talk some more maps. Hopefully Luke is back and healthy. And hopefully the Rangers have acquired a third baseman from the Colorado Rockies. Thanks for listening to Speaking of Sports. I've been your host, Jared Slack.